outbreak could spread, as the patient is now diagnosed and isolated. An Ebola outbreak in West Africa between 2013 and 2015 caused at least 11,000 deaths. The disease has a mortality rate of around 50%. This latest Ebola outbreak started in Bandaka, a densely populated city with road and air links to the capital, Kinshasa. A vaccination campaign is now underway. In Japan, at least 10 people have been killed after a tourist boat went missing off the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido. The Japan Coast Guard says the search is continuing in rigid waters for 16 others who were on board. The Kazu 1 vessel. Contact with the boat was lost after it said it was taken on water at 13:15 local time on Saturday. The vessel is believed to have been on a 3-hour sightseeing voyage around the Sharitokol Peninsula. The area is a designated UNESCO World Heritage Site, and boat trips are popular with tourists hoping to spot whales and sea lions and as well brown bears on the rocky beaches. The crew managed to signal that the vessel was tipping at a 30-degree angle and starting to sink. Patrol boats and police and military aircraft were immediately dispatched to find the vessel. Local fishing boats were also taking part in the search operation. Of the 26 on board, 2 were crew and 2 were children. Obiageli Ugoke, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has extended his condolences to the government and people of Kenya over the death of the country's first opposition president, Kibaki. Reacting to the death of the former president of the Republic of Kenya, President Buhari said that late Kibaki has set a remarkable record of being the first opposition politician to end 40 years of one-party rule by being elected president in 2013. President Buhari maintained that Kibaki had demonstrated that with patience and tenacity, a man can achieve his ultimate goal in life. And global economic growth to slow down this year at the 2022 World Bank and IMF spring meeting ends in the United States, and Nigeria foreclosed the idea of floating foreign currency. Details of these and more will come your way with Musa Aliyu.
The weekly review will take off from the United States, where World Bank and the International Monetary Fund 2022 spring meeting was held. The International Monetary Fund during the meeting projected that the global economic growth will slow from an estimated 6.1% in 2021 to 3.6% in 2022 and 2023. This is 0.8 and 0.2 percent points lower than the projected for 2022 and 2023.
Overall, strong domestic policies and international cooperation are needed more than ever to preserve the global economic recovery and safeguard macroeconomic stability while battling the pandemic and, where necessary, mitigating the impact of energy and food price increases on the most vulnerable groups.
Nigeria's economy is projected to grow by 3.1% by 2023 from the 2.7% it earlier projected. Similarly, the Central Bank of Nigeria has foreclosed the possibility of adopting a clean float foreign exchange management approach as long as the supply shock remains.
Whereas we are also doing something to adjust the currency, like for instance between 2015 and now, you would observe that we have adjusted the currency from about 155 to about 410, 420 that it is today. So we cannot be accused of not adjusting the currency.
Let's now look at global inflation, where it was stated that the impact of the war in Ukraine is likely to sustain pressure on commodity prices, affecting oil and gas prices severely in 2022.
A very significant repercussion is increasing inflation. With rising food and fuel prices, they are severely straining the budgets of ordinary families.
In Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari called on Nigerian entrepreneurs and investors to emulate the Dangote Industries Limited by channeling their ideas and resources towards creating firm anchors of enduring economic prosperity for the nation through massive investment in worthy enterprises. Muhammadu Buhari, who threw the challenge while granting audience to the chairman of board of directors of Dangote Group, promised to sustain efforts at implementing needed reforms towards improving the ease of doing business. In other news, the federal government assured international donor agencies of judicious utilization of funds provided to support food production in Nigeria. World Bank, International Fund for Agricultural Development, and African Development Bank are currently funding key agricultural projects in Nigeria. The total cost of the projects are $1.416 billion.
Have structure for each of these to keep track of how much is coming in and what is being spent, and also a steering committee, and also we do send inspection team from time to time, monitoring and evaluation to make sure the money being spent, we can see the result, we can see the work is commensurate to what is happening.
And the Nigeria Stock Exchange last week sustained its positive momentum as market capitalization gained 46 billion naira.
And in Nigeria, the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has described the fire that engulfed an illegal oil bunkering site in the Egbema local government area of the state as horrific. The incident, which occurred Saturday night, left residents of the area devastated, as over 100 youths are said to have been burnt, while several of them also sustained various degrees of injury. Although the exact figure cannot be certain, as family members of the affected persons had picked up the remains of some victims, the Imo State Governor described the activities of the operators at the site as criminal.
This is what we have been crying for in the state. It's an economic sabotage to our country, where people steal our crude oil, refine illegally, and even without the guarantee of the quality of such products said to the people. That does not mean that they're not pathetic for the loss of lives associated with the incident. It's unfortunate, but then also I want to use that to, through that, advise those who are still in that practice to desist from such action.
Some members of the community expressed shock over the incident, stressing that this is not the first time a fire from illegal bunkering site is being witnessed, but not in this magnitude.
My sister just born from fire. Just like that. It's a painful sight. Even I can never even recognize her here.
But President Muhammadu Buhari has directed Armed Forces, Security and Intelligence Agency to intensify clampdown on illegal refineries following reported deaths of scores of people after an illegal refinery exploded at Abaize Forest in Ohaji, Egbema local government area of Imo State. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari said those behind the act should be fished out and brought to justice. The president commiserates with the families of the victims of Ohaji Egbema community and the government and people of Imo State, and urged community leaders and the security agencies to forestall future reoccurrence. Away from that, First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, has enjoined Nigerians, irrespective of religious or cultural background, not to be distracted by the modern-day global challenges, but to remain focused on issues that strengthen brotherhood, unity, and national cohesion. State House correspondent Liu Kabir reports that First Lady stated this during the breaking of Ramadan fast in honor of the Nigerian presidential aspirants and all the stakeholders from various political parties.
Addressing presidential aspirants cutting across all political parties in Nigeria, including female aspirants, shortly after the breaking of Ramadan fast, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, expressed delight in the spirit of Ramadan, which has provided the opportunity for the aspirants and other participants to share love with one another. She also acknowledged the strength in the nation's diversity and therefore appreciated the fact that Nigeria can grow stronger, more united and peaceful. While pursuing their political ambitions in the quest of nation building, the First Lady has urged the political class, especially the aspirants, to remain united tolerance and focused, and put national interest first, especially as 2023 election is approaching.
This also proves that you can hold hands today and as members of the political class decide to champion an exemplary political process. This is important because the electioneering period is the most demanding for our tolerance and maturity and calls for the pursuit of our country's national interests rather than parochial considerations. I therefore urge you all to use this period for the good of the nation, ensuring fair play, avoiding violence, and building bridges where necessary. Fair play for women is about their greater participation in elective positions, governance, and administration.
Another example that this gathering has afforded us to look at is the example of unity. She has left no one behind. The women feel comfortable here, and so do the men.
The presidential aspirants from all political parties, irrespective of party differences, reaffirmed their commitment to play politics without bitterness towards building a more united and stronger Nigeria.
This is very symbolic and important as we strive to forge unity amongst our diverse people in this country. It is a lesson which should not be lost on any of us here.
We are going out better Nigerians than what we are, irrespective of party division, irrespective of any differences, that will make sure we do our own game of politicking with humility, with mutual respect, with Nigeria in our mind, with the adage Nigeria first. I want to first of all commend you for the work you have been doing about affirmative action. Because affirmative action is bringing in the inclusion of women.
While acknowledging the 2015 election as a watershed in the nation's political history, the First Lady is optimistic that the 2023 election is going to be another clean, violence-free, and globally acknowledged fair election. From the State House, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
The news is broadcast live on NTA International. We have more reports for you right after this break.
Hey, beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight.
Now reading page 3.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G. Entel. Live more.
Many thanks for staying tuned to the news on NTA International. Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, has officially been inducted into the Hall of Fame of the Academic Staff Union of Research Institutes. The minister made history as the first ever inductee into the Hall of Fame at the sensitization workshop for the staff of the ministry on the full implementation of the Presidential Executive Order 5. Dr. Onu, while describing the Executive Order number 5 as being revolutionary, enunciated that the essence of the Executive Order 5 is to ensure that Nigeria acquires technologies that will help in positioning the nation towards self-sufficiency.
In 78 years' time, at the end of this century, we'll be almost 1 billion people. More mouths to feed, more heads to provide shelter, more bodies to clothe. We have to look after the sick. So there is that challenge, and we have to think ahead. And that is the essence for the Executive Order number 5. Those who may not fully appreciate the reason for this executive order should take this as the basis for having this executive order. It is not just procurement. Procurement is only a part of it. But we want to make sure that we can acquire technologies that we don't have and be in a position to now build and they produce those things that we now import from other countries so that we can attain self-sufficiency and acquire self-reliance.
Coordinator of the Strategy Implementation Task Office of the Presidential Executive Order number 5, Ibiam Oguejofor, said the order will encourage Nigerian youths to be at the center of socio-economic activities. And cleanliness is a way of promoting good living and is the responsibility of all and sundry. For this reason, a group in line with the federal government's effort in beautifying the FCT and combating plastic pollution has taken it upon themselves to embark on cleaning of major markets in Abuja. Charles Alpha reports.
Tackle ultra-modern market is one of Abuja's largest commercial hubs. Like other markets in the FCT, it is built with different segmentations, majorly food items, but the environment on which buying and selling is carried out remains an eyesore.
The healthy and clean environment in the marketplace is not just for the customers, but it also facilitates the sales of what the traders are doing daily. Because if the market is clean, people come more. And then that's why you see people find it more convenient to go to supermarkets.
Project Clean Abuja, a group of Nigerians committed to the promotion of hygiene and beautification of the Federal Capital Territory and its environs, chose this market to clear debris and piles of waste in and around the market, while also sensitizing businessmen and women transacting here on the imperative of cleaning their spaces.
So the nylon bags now are never ending. What I think government can do is now initiate a campaign that involves the people that are in these spaces, to be the ones that are collectively gathering the plastics. And then they provide bins or platforms for them where they put it in.
The group intends to provide waste bins at strategic points in the Federal Capital Territory as a way of helping government address problem of pollution. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
And in Kaduna, the state command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has intercepted a kilogram of substance suspected to be cocaine and more than 500 kilograms of Indian hemp along Kaduna-Abuja Highway. The consignment is suspected to be delivered to bandits in their hideouts in some parts of Kaduna State. Achari Maxwell tells us more.
Drugs intercepted were concealed as waybills for onward delivery to the northeast and some criminal dens in the state. 2 suspected drug cartel were arrested in Mando Garage in possession of white powder suspected to be cocaine. Among those arrested with cannabis sativa is one Salihu who claimed to use the substance as poultry feed. Kaduna command of the NDLEA accused the suspects of delivering illicit substances to bandits.
If it is an cannabis addict or a codeine addict or any of the drug in a locality that you just pass and laugh, is more dangerous. Know from today that he serves as a basic source of information. Because all these bandits and all you have to do is to identify what he's abusing. Come with a little portion of it. believe me, he will give the name of all the peoples and their number of castes, their number of children in that locality.
The command called for credible community-based intelligence and strong synergy among security agencies in dealing with drug cartels in the state. The suspect will be charged to court after investigation in Kaduna. Achari Maxwell, NTA News.
And up next is Sports Update.
Chief of Naval Spikers maintained dominance in the ongoing Division II League in Jalingo, Taraba State, having walked over G-Ranks Volleyball Club in one of the two matches. The competition, which enters day 4 Monday, will see Adama Spikers taking on Chief of Naval Spikers on Sunday. Other matches scheduled for day 3, Bayonet Spikers settle scores with G-Ranks Volleyball Club, while Taraba Spikers will test their strength against Sword Volleyball Club of Benue. Earlier on Saturday, Adama Spikers strolled past Sword Volleyball Club 3-0 as Plateau Rocks also triumphed over Taraba Spikers 3-1. The Darts Federation of Nigeria says more talent will be discovered to keep up with the vision of the new board, as the federation is poised to have a formidable national team that can represent the country in major international competitions. This was made known as the federation concludes second regional darts championship in Asaba Delta State, where Nnamdi Ukagu from Ondo State and Mercy Chukwuji of Delta State emerged victorious in the male and female categories.
The Federation has also put in place a pilot program to aggressively discover new players in school all over the country.
Meanwhile, former Chelsea striker Didier Drogba has lost his bid to become the president of the Ivorian Football Federation after failing to gain the required votes in the first round of election. Drogba finished with 21 votes behind Sori Diabate with 50 votes and Idris Diallo with 59 votes. The top two candidates proceeded to the second round of elections, where Idris Diallo defeated Sori Diabate by 63 to 61 votes to emerge the federation's president. Finally, WBC champion Tyson Fury produced a stunning 1-point stoppage in the 6th round to beat fellow Brighton Dillian White. Fury dominated what was a scrappy bout before unleashing an uppercut to beat White. Fury further added he will retire from boxing as the second heavyweight in history after Rocky Marciano, who retired undefeated. Fury, who also retained his Ring Magazine belt, is unbeaten in 33 bouts, while White, suffering his third loss in 31 fights, fell short of first attempt at a world title. With sport updates, Clement Olorutoba, NT News.
And next is Monday's weather's prospect for Nigeria and other cities of the world. And that's the news on NTA International. I'm Comfort and Mother. Remember to join us in our campaign against rape and rapists to be a star.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk, app for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Thanks for joining us on your favorite nautical authoritative on television. Nimasa this week, the voice of Maritime. As always, the program is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, the nation's apex regulator and promoter of the Nigerian maritime industry. My name is Ubang Sen, and it's my pleasure to be your guide on this voyage.
You are watching Nimasa this week.
Nimasa this week.
Nimasa this week. The voice of Maritime.
The voice of Maritime.
The voice of Maritime.
The voice of Maritime.
I'll encourage you to watch Nimasa this week.
Nimasa this week. The voice of Maritime, showing on these stations.
Welcome back. It's still Nimasa this week, the voice of Maritime, and of course by now you know the drill. We begin as always with the DJ's diary, telling you some of the things that Dr. Bashir Jamo, the CEO of Nimasa, has been up to, and we have Know Your Convention, where we take you through some of the rules and regulations governing the maritime business globally and how Nigeria is domesticating those rules from the International Maritime Organization, the IMO, plus our other regulars. So if you're ready, it's anchors away.
Introducing the Nemasa Distress Response Call Lines for all maritime stakeholders, ship owners, seafarers, ship captains. Whatever your challenge or distress in the Nigerian maritime domain, please call 0803 0685 167, 0708 0005 956, 0700 0700 010. If you can't reach us on these lines, please call 0700 0700 020, 0700 0700 030. Also via VHF Radio Channel 16. Call and the master will respond. World Book Day is observed on the 23rd of April in most parts of the world to promote the benefits of reading, publishing, and copyright. It was created by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, in 1995 as a worldwide celebration of reading books. Over the years, World Book Day has served as a symbol for promoting a culture of leisure reading by providing every child and young person with the opportunity to have a book of their own. Dr. Jamo described books as a great treasure and reading as a lasting pleasure. He noted that the merits of books in the life of a man cannot be overemphasized. In his words, a house or a room without a book is like a human being without a soul, he said. The DG made this known while speaking at the World Book and Copyright Day event held at the Rockview Hotel in Apapa, Lagos.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Book Day. Well, the FC made mention that I published book. Yes, true. I published book. I think about 4 years ago, my first book, and I hope to release 2 books before the end of second quarter 2022. So whenever you have the opportunity, you don't let your history or your knowledge die in vain. When you have it, it's within you only alone. Share it with others. No matter how little it is, it will go a long way. So that takes me to why book and what books do. It helps us to teach ourselves about the history. If you don't know your history or you don't know history of human being, that means you don't know where you're coming from and you will not know where you're going. Books also teach us about art, science, technology, nature, mathematics, anything and everything in our universe and beyond. So that means book is one of the important key cardinal principle of human being or human life or human existence. With that book, we may not have a lot of what we do today in our human endeavor.
The Director General, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Bashir Jamo, disclosed that NIMASA is on the verge of creating a maritime museum for the first time in its history.
NIMASA is in the batch of creating maritime museum for the first time in the history of this country. This underscores the importance of books, history in the maritime industry. We have a lot of history to tell about the maritime industry all over the world. We travel all over the world, we see how they operate their maritime industry. But what we have in Nigeria that our children and grandchildren can see and remember the basic foundation and the history of maritime growth and development in this country. Today, we don't have such museum. But I think the consultant concluded his work in terms of the framework and the structure of the Maritime Museum in Nigeria. And very soon, hopefully before the end of the third quarter of this year, we should have a first maritime museum in Nigeria.
The master boss also admonished students and staff of the agency to inculcate effective reading habits and literary culture, as that is the only key to growth and academic excellence.
We have demonstrated our commitment to this ideal in no small measure by investing massively in education and learning infrastructure, as well as assets such as our physical and electronic libraries at our Regional Maritime Resource Development Center in Kirikiri. The facilities are not only available to NIMASA employees, we have also made them accessible to general public. By just a click of a button, anyone can access all the books and the materials in our archive to learn more about shipping and the maritime industry. With the electronic library that is accessible online and the physical library which has branches spread across the zonal offices, comprises of Abuja Zonal Office, Eastern Zonal Office with headquarters in Port Harcourt, West Central Zonal Office headquarters in Warri, and the Western Zonal Office headquarters in Lagos. We are contributing to the development of the reading culture day by day. This day is an occasion to celebrate the contribution of books and authors to our global culture. Even though I am a writer myself with a book titled Harnessing Nigerian Maritime Assets, Past, Present, and Future, published in 2018. The book is a timely material that offers readers an insight into challenges undermining the maritime sector, how it affects the country's economy, and most importantly, how to tackle the challenges.
The Director of Planning Research and Data Management Services, Mr. Eric Oji, emphasized the impact of World Book and Copyright Day, while the head of Library and Information Unit, Haji Askira, proposed the significance, importance, and beauty of book reading.
This particular day, which is an annual event, is being celebrated by the Library Department of the agency as a part of the interface between us and the schools around us.
The theme of this year 2022 World Book and Copyright Day, you are a reader. The focus is on getting books in the hands of both adults and children. And everyone here in this sector is expected to go back home with books, because this is the theme, this is the focus of the World Book and Copyright Day.
The DG expresses gratitude to the librarian and her team for their efforts in fostering an avid reading culture in the agency, and hopes that the Master Library will become a valuable resource for staff and stakeholders seeking personal and professional growth. The Secretary General of the Maritime Organization of West and Central Africa, MOCA, Dr. Paula Daliku, has requested technical collaboration with the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, towards recommending Nigeria's anti-piracy law to other member countries. Dr. Daliku made these remarks during a working visit to the Director General, Dr. Bashiru Jamo, in Lagos. He also praised Nigeria's progress in combating maritime crimes, which led to the country's removal from the list, International Maritime Bureau Red List of high-risk maritime countries. The MOCA Secretary General, who was in Nemasa as part of his first official visit to Nigeria since assuming office in January, described the country's suppression of piracy and other maritime offences, SPOMO Act, as effective legislation.
I'm also seeking during this visit a closer partnership that Nimasa work with the ministry to enact the act that Mr. President signed for the first time in Africa. An African country has an anti-piracy act signed by Mr. President to chase and reduce maritime criminality. MOCA would like to take this baby and showcase it and use it as a model for the 25 member states of the organization to model their maritime anti-piracy laws after the model that Nigeria is currently practicing.
MOCA's boss went on to say that Gambia, Cameroon, and other member countries have asked for technical collaboration to further build their respective maritime administrations. While calling for continued support for MOCA from Nimasa, Dr. Daliku also noted that 10 countries have signed up for the charter of the Regional Maritime Development Bank, which will be unveiled soon in Abuja. Adaliku commended the leadership of Nimasa and also the Minister of Transportation, Honorable Rotimi Amici, on the continued support given to MOCA. On his part, the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Bashiru Jamo, urged Dr. Daliku to align his economic plan with the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, particularly in the area of maritime trade and the provision of trustworthy statistical shipping data.
It's the duty of MOCA to make sure that the West and Central African countries, which we have about 25, including the landlocked countries, must key into the ACPA and benefit the most gains that we are supposed to get. Apart from the issue of the trade, it's the duty of MOCA to ensure that they look at the tonnage. In 1998, I think that MOCA, when they were a little bit off and doing, they were the one that built about 247 million tonnage for the regional body. Today, we cannot have the statistical analysis of the tonnage that regional bodies used to generate. And what are we doing to influence this tonnage for the benefit of the member countries?
Dr. Jamo said MOCA as an international organization used to be helpful in providing maritime industry experts and professionals with information on country-by-country cargo tonnage in order to assess the amount of trade in the region. Dr. Jamo also called for a stronger MOCA presence at the International Maritime Organization, IMO, which represents 25 maritime countries with critical impact on global maritime trades.
So I think it's high time for the Secretary General to put in your request to see what NIMASA can help you with in terms of professional officers that can handle technical matters of MOCA, so that you can quickly hit the ground running and see what we can do in terms of, carving out most of the cargoes and other things. This will help us, especially on the issue of cabotage. The regional cabotage issues will also have to look into, so that if Nigeria is operating cabotage, we can't say Benin Republic is not operating cabotage. And by the time you start inter-trade between the two countries, you have lacuna in the laws. So this one will allow them to go free. This one will say they are going to arrest such situation. So you really need professional and technical officers to see how they can do before you can see the harmonization of such laws.
Then the Master DG said the agency was willing to release professional, technical, and highly qualified personnel to MOCA upon request by the Secretary General to assist him in achieving his goals for the 47-year-old organization.
Mr. Abdul Fatai, so under the convention, I mean, what vessels are covered under the convention? Is it all tankers carrying oil, or how does it work?
The type of vessel covered under the Civil Liability Convention is tankers that carries 2,000 tons of oil and above, trading on international waters. So as long as you carry 2,000 tons and above of oil, or your vessel is made to carry that amount of such capacity, you must insure your vessel against civil liability of oil pollution damage.
What does NIMASA do to ensure compliance of ship owners?
NIMASA ensures that ship owners ensure a compulsory insurance that they must all insure their vessels against oil pollution damage. So by doing so, we ensure that they apply to the agency requesting for a certificate which they will carry on board as a proof that their vessel has been insured against oil pollution damage. So that when there is an oil spill, even if the owner could not be traced, we can go for the insurance company. So they will be the one that will be liable to.
Do you want to give us a practical step or procedure of how to obtain this certificate from NIMASA? So that tanker owners out there.
Yes, they will apply,
write
an application letter requesting for the civil liability certificates. Usually a tanker will request for 3 different certificates, which is the civil liability certificate for oil pollution damage, then civil liability certificate for bunker oil pollution damage, then civil liability certificate for the removal of wrecks. So, but we are talking about tanker oil pollution damage now. So they will write an application letter requesting for these certificates. Then they will attach P&I blue card, which they usually get from, they get it from the international groups of P&I clubs.
All right. So what do you mean by P&I?
Protection and indemnity.
That's like the insurance firms?
Yes.
All right.
So they'll get it and attached to the written application. Then they will attach their registered certificate. And all these documents that they attach must be valid.
So NIMASA ensures that they carry this
certificate.
Insurance.
Yes, after processing, we issue them a certificate. So they must always carry this certificate on board vessel.
Okay. So Mrs. Matthew, when there's a spill, what happens?
When there is a spill, the first thing is that the ship captain is supposed to report directly to NIMASA as the Maritime Administrator of Nigeria.
Let me cut you there. Saying that, I mean, if I'm a ship owner and I have strict liability, what if I don't report? What happens? Is there any other person that ought to report apart from the captain? I mean, I could just sail away.
Now, the victim of the pollution can also report.
Okay.
Can also report the incident that probably along the coastline in their community, there's an incident that occurred. So anyone can actually report to NIMASA.
Anyone can report?
Report.
That's
yes. Good. Anyone that is around that community, around that coastline, can report the incident to NIMASA.
So once you receive such report?
Now, once we receive such report, we have what is called a contingency plan. We activate the contingency plan for oil spill incident. Now, NIMASA is not the only party to the contingency plan. Now, we have other organizations like NOSDRA, the Air Force, the Navy, as part of the contingency plan. Because in an event of an oil spill, we have the media. You have to inform the public that there is an incident. And the area has to be protected. You have to inform Clean Nigerian associates to probably secure the environment, to prevent the spill from moving to other areas, causing more damage than usual. So what we do is to activate the national contingency plan.
So once you activate that plan, or there's a collaborative effort of relevant
agencies and departments in tackling that incident.
Okay. This is Matthew. Thank you for coming to this segment. And Abdul Fatai, thank you so much for your insights that you've provided on this segment of Know Your Conventions. Well, viewers, that's as much as we can take on the International Convention for Civil Liability on Oil Pollution Damage 1992 and the International Oil Pollution Compensation Fund 1992. Until next time, please stay tuned as Nemasa This Week, the voice of Maritime continues.
Welcome back to Nimasa This Week, the voice of Maritime, and we go straight away to what is happening online. What are some of the messages that have been trending as it relates to goings on in the Nigerian maritime space? The discussion is still about maritime security, and it has this to say. The issue of maritime security requires a combination and optimization of efforts and an understanding that suppression is not the same as a long-lasting solution. And for the simple reason that those who commit illegal acts at sea are highly adaptable, increasingly sophisticated in their methods, and often well-informed. Therefore, local, regional, and global efforts must be flexible, proactive, and sustainable. So the DG is talking about sustaining all of the efforts that have combined to produce the current season of stability on our seas. As you can see from the graph on display, there has been a significant reduction in the rate of kidnapping of seafarers at sea. And it is therefore worth mentioning that we may not yet be there, but we are steadily making progress in the right direction thanks to NIMASA, the Nigerian Navy, and all of our various local and international partners working together, pulling in the same direction to make our seas stable and our coasts calmer. So feel free to continue the conversation with the DG. The social media handles are currently displayed on your screen, as well as at NIMASA Official. You can engage more broadly with NIMASA. However, when it comes to doing business in the Nigerian maritime industry, there are rules of the road. Whether you are into core shipping or you're simply seeking to know the workings of government in terms of policy direction as it relates to the blue economy, the NIMASA official website currently showing on your screen remains your first port of call. And do remember that NIMASA bears the lead oversight role when it comes to the enforcement of regulations within the Nigerian maritime ecosystem. The sailor Alan Gebert once said, "I wanted freedom, open air, and adventure. Guess where I found it? I found it on the sea." Perhaps that's what makes maritime all the more interesting. The feeling of adventure and the opportunity to escape as you sail into the very deep and go from the unknown to the known. Well, that's food for thought. I hope you've enjoyed watching today's episode of the program. It's been my pleasure serving as your anchor. My name remains Ubong Isien, saying to you as always, stay on course. Bye-bye, till next time.
"24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
This is the network service of the NTA.
A new edition of TV Guide is out, exclusively with Professor Umar Garba Dambata, Executive Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC.
We have unveiled the 622 as a toll-free line through which consumers can be able to lodge their complaints. And we have introduced the 112 as the national emergency number.
This edition is a compendium of mind-blowing stories for your reading pleasure, ranging from technology, entertainment, economy, media, politics, family, and lots more. Pick up your copy and get abreast with issues and trending features within our space. TV Guide, very incisive, very educative and compelling. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen.
I don't know for you. Second, it's called Oja Village. We know how to at all. And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders. Hey, you are trying.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I talk with that now.
Powered by Glow. Powered by Glow.
Oh, I see this collab where they shoot there. Guy, give me small new number now.
Romance without finance na annoyance. Better give me bullet.
Yeah, give me the number.
Oh yeah, jot the number down. 0805.
Where the complete number?
It's always so hot. Like the like I go need juice, so just like juices.
Hey, oh yeah, give me last numbers.
My 5 password.
41 now you owe me.
Oh yeah, 7650.
What's you? What's you? It's funny, hello.